Okay, guys. So we did the vectors, and now it's time to do the tool paths. It's the same file we had already open. So now what we're going to do, just like we discussed in our strategy, in here. So we're going to click on this, the first pocket vector for clamp 1. We're going to go over here to our toolpath operation, and we're going to select a pocket toolpath. Okay. Our cutting depth, we're going to start at 0 because we're touching off on the top of the part. And then what we're going to do is we're going to carve down, and we want, and I think originally I did like 4.5 millimeters, 5 millimeters. But regardless, what we're going to do is we're going to carve down 5 millimeters. Okay. So we're going to start at 0, and we're going to go for a cut depth of 5 millimeters. If you don't have here, let's pretend like this wasn't here. Select our tool. We're using a 1/4 inch end mill. We're using a 4 flute. And it's a 0.25 inch diameter. This is all correct, except we're going to change the feed rate. I'll explain that to you in a minute. 180 inches per minute is really, it'll do it, but it's rough on the machine. I'm going to select this, and now with the tool highlighted, I'm going to go over and I'm going to edit. And this is not going to edit it in the database. It's only going to edit it for its usage here. So I'm going to click edit, and instead of 180 inches per minute, we're going to do 130 inches per minute. And then our plunge rate is, let's see, 10 inches per minute is very slow. And I think, no, that's not bad. 10 inches in a minute's not bad. So, yeah, hold on one second. So, we're going to ramp plunge moves over a distance of 5 millimeters. Actually, let's say 10 millimeters. I don't like to plunge straight into anything, but well, we'll say 5 millimeters. And this is going to be clamp 1, pocket 1. Let's call it large pocket 1. And then we're going to calculate this. Okay. Now, if we go over here to our preview, we'll hit play, and there it is, carving it. Okay. So we did 1, right? So now all we have to do is, and by the way, see this area down here? Can you see my mouse pointer? Watch this. See how it shows Z0 when I'm on top of it? Because we're at the surface. See where it says now? Z is -5. We can use that when we're doing toolpaths. We can use this to get an idea of where we should start the next toolpath. But for now, what we're going to do is we're going to take this clamp 1 large pocket that pocket 1 we just did, and we're going to right click and we're going to duplicate it, and we're going to rename it, and we're going to say, we're going to call it clamp 2 large pocket 1. And now what we're going to do is double click on it and highlight this other vector instead of that one and hit calculate. And see how quick that was? So now what we're going to do is we're going to do this all the way through. There's the vector it's carving. Highlight clamp 2, large pocket 1, right? Right click, duplicate. Right click, rename. Clamp 3, large pocket 1. Double click to open it. Click on our new vector. Calculate. And there's a reason why I'm doing this way. I'm purposely not selecting all of these vectors and calculating them because I don't want my mill, I do not want my CNC machine to carve this pocket, raise, go over here, carve this pocket, raise, go over here, carve this. But this is why I was talking about a strategy. That's a lot of wasted time to do this and go all the way back and do it again. So we don't want to do that. All right, so now let's right click, duplicate, right click on buy a new one, rename, clamp 4, large pocket 1, double click to open it, select that vector instead of that one, calculate. And already we have the 4 tool paths that will carve the large portion, this portion, and we're carving. Hold on a second. We're carving from here all the way across. Okay. And here's the reason why I'm mentioning that. We're going to do this tool path and then this tool path. This tool path, for the slot, and this tool path, these two tool paths are not going to start at 0 because we've already eliminated 5 millimeters of material, right? So we're going to go back to the first one because we've carved that pocket. In my opinion, the strategy should be, since we're already at 0, we go here and take our slot. We know that we've eliminated 5 millimeters of material that we've carved away. I'm sorry, close this. Now what we're going to do is we're going to highlight this one. We're going to do another pocket tool path. And this pocket tool path, and let's double check that. I wanted you to see this, that it keeps your settings, right? After we edited, it'll keep those settings in this set of tool paths until we alter it again, okay? And now what we're going to do is our cut depth, we're going to start at 5 millimeters, right? We're not going to start up here at 0 because why would we do that and waste all that motion? And now what we got to do is we've got to look at how thick our material is. My phone's ringing. Oops. Come on now. Okay, sorry about that. My phone started ringing and it distracted me. Okay, so let's go back to this. The pocket, this is correct. Start depth 5.0. Let's see. Is it? It's equal Z, I think, or Z equal. Equal Z. There's a shortcut for this, but I can't remember it. Okay, but anyway, if we look, the job dimensions, 18.9, right? So, and we're going to leave a little bit, okay, because we don't want to hit our waste board. So 18.7 minus 5, 13.7. So if we go here and cut 13.7. Yeah, you can tell I'm sleepy. 13.7, and this is going to be clamp 1, edge, pocket, 2, because it's the second pocket. Okay. And now if you look, so if we go on here, see how it shows Z0 down here in the corner. And then if you go to one of these surfaces, it's -5, Z minus 18.7, and our workpiece is 18.9. So do we want to leave 2/10 of a millimeter and carve it out? I would rather do that than to hit my waste board. And plus, I have gone through a little bit and hit the double-sided tape. I'm going to use double-sided tape behind this too. Actually, no, I probably won't, because we're going to use tabs. But 2/10 of a millimeter is not a lot. It's really not. But you have to decide if you want to do a little bit of sanding, and I would rather do a little bit of sanding. All right, so now now that we've done that, we're going to do the exact same thing. We duplicate. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and duplicate them. And one thing I don't like about this laptop keyboard is F2. I have to use function and F2 to rename. Yeah, sorry about that. My phone started ringing, and I didn't want to answer it in the middle of this video. I need to get this done. Okay, so now we got clamp 1, 2, and 3, and 4 for this. Oh, wait a minute, we didn't do the edge pocket. See, that's how sleepy I am. This is the T slot. Right. Sorry, guys. I have not been sleeping good. Truthfully, my back's still giving me trouble. It started flaring up again. I took a couple of different vacation days, but the only reason I took them was because I knew I was doing work that I was afraid might cause me to have problems with my back, and I didn't want to have an issue at work. Okay. Okay. So the first one's done. Now what we have to do is go to the second one, double click, change the vector, calculate. No, you don't have to preview them. I just do because I like to keep up with where I am when I'm doing this. And as you can see, once you do this a bit, it's not bad. It's really not. I'm going to hit save. Yeah, there was another thing too that we could have looked at. Here, let me. So it has 5 passes, right? If we take the plunge off, let's see how. Actually, it won't matter. I'm not going to. I really don't want to. I would rather do this. I'd rather be safe. Okay. You can get really ballsy and decide you're going to carve 1/4 millimeter, um, and you can get away with it sometimes, carving 1/4 millimeter at a time. I'm just not going to risk it. I'm not going to risk it, but you can try it if you want. I mean, other people do it sometimes, but okay. So now we have clamp 1 through 4. We've got the large pocket and we've got the T slot. So now we have to do this slot and this pocket, and this pocket is pocket toolpath with it highlighted. Still going to start at 5 millimeters, okay? And this time we're going to mic this and see there's 8 millimeters left. So 18.9 minus 8. So it looks like it's going to be 5.9 millimeters. So 6 millimeters. And this is going to be clamp 1, edge pocket 3. Okay. Minus 11. 19 roughly minus 11 is roughly 8. But you know what? Let's doctor that a bit. Say 5.75. And okay. The other thing, I didn't know you can reset the preview. And we're not going to do them in this order, by the way. All right, so now it says minus 10.75. So if we go 18.9 minus 10.75, 8.15, that's close enough. I think when I measured it, it's like, I think at the lip is like 8, just over 8 millimeters. The main thing is I like having a lip there because it has something to where you can butt up against it. It's not totally necessary, I realize that, but you know what? All right, so now we're going to duplicate this one, rename it. Here, let's uncheck that. Rename clamp 2. Clamp 3. I know it sounds like I don't enjoy this. I actually do. I have OCDs. I don't know. I guess you would call that enjoyment. It satisfies my OCD. Let's put it that way. Problem solving. Okay, so we got clamp 1. We already have that one. We're going to double click on clamp 2. We're going to highlight this vector, calculate. And you remember what we were talking about earlier? And I was talking about that overlap. Can you see that? Hold on, I'm going to zoom in on that. That's what I was talking about. That you would see this on this piece, and you'll see what I mean. You won't see it when we're done because we're cutting this away. But if it wasn't for that, you would see it. So it's pocket 3, pocket 4. Okay, so now we have those tool paths, and the only thing left is the perimeters of the pieces, right? All right, and they are profiles. So now what we're going to do is we're going to say profile toolpath. We're going to start at 0 again because now we're cutting this whole perimeter right here. And part of it's not cut at all, right? And then plus some of it we've already carved out a good deal. So you might see, you're going to see in some areas where it's not going to touch anything, right? And we're going to carve 8 point, we're going to do 8.7. 10 passes, let's see, edit, spindle speed. No, we're not going to do that here. Yeah, here. Spindle speed is going to be like 10,005. And step over is going to be 40%. Pass depth is going to be 125. Feed rate is going to be 100, and I think that we can get away with doing these at 100 inches per minute or more. Kind of nervous about the whole idea of it because it's going to be only secured by 2 clamps, but I know we can do at least 100 inches per minute. The plunge rate is 17 inches per minute. That's probably not bad. Needs to be on the side. 6 passes. We're going to add some tabs. The tab thickness is going to be, let's do 1.5. I think 1.5 millimeter would be enough. Length, let's do 8 millimeters. Constant number. Oh, and by the way, on these, we can actually do all of these parameters. Constant number, 4, avoid corners. Yeah, let's do that because these are probably going to get cut off. And let's do this. Let's go back and say 5mm tabs. 6. But you know what? I really let's do that. And let's call this parameter profile 1. So how does that look? Looks like a clamp, right? I don't know if we could get away with having just 4 of these tabs, you know. That's the problem, because we're not going to have any clamping on the side, because we're just dealing with this little scrap piece. But let's see what would happen if we, here, let's go back and let's, okay, well, a little bit of cutting and a little bit of sanding, which won't be terrible. I just, 0.2 of a millimeter is not really that bad. I mean, you should be able to cut that out with the utility knife. And then these pieces right here can just be sanded off. But the main concern I have with doing this stuff is, I mean, I know it's called a waste board, you know, and we consider it to be a waste board, but it doesn't mean that I want to waste a waste board. And I go through here and I check this, and it's like 18.8, 18.8, but it's almost 18.9. And we set it at 18.9. So yeah, let's go with that. And anyway, there are the tool paths. Okay, so now what we would do is, and first let's go back before we do anything else. Let's go back and look at, can we get away with 4? Let's try to do it. Let's go to edit the tabs. 5mm tabs. They're not tiny, but they're not big either. Maybe if we went back to 8mm, so let's say delete all tabs. Let's go back to, let's say 8mm tabs, and 1.5 millimeters thick. And that's not very thick. Let's do 2 millimeters thick. And then let's edit the tabs, and let's do 4 of them and add tabs. And then close this. And then let's turn around and calculate it again. Let's reset the preview and preview all. My wife just came home. That looks better. So now we're at the point to where we have to go back and discuss your strategy again, because we don't want to do each tool path all the way down and go back and do it again. And what we're going to do to rectify that is we're going to go everywhere we said clamp 1, we're going to move that up. So we're going to take clamp 1 T-slot and clamp 1 edge. And we're going to do the same thing with 2. And then with 3. Okay. Now watch. We're going to reset our preview. And we're going to say preview all toolpaths. Now, does that make more sense to you? There we go. And now what we would do is we would generate all these toolpaths. And I mean, we have generated them. We're going to save these. Okay. Close. Save toolpath. And then here you have some, you can do one toolpath at a time if you want. But it says selected toolpath, visible toolpaths to one file, visible toolpaths to multiple files. We're going to do visible toolpaths to one file. And this file is going to carve 4 clamps every time you run it based off the center of your workpiece. So we're going to hit Save Toolpaths. And now that we have this, this is the actual G code. So now we're going to go to what I'm going to do for now is I'm going to put it on my network drive. And so now I have it on my network drive, and I will give a thumb drive and copy this and paste it on the thumb drive. And then in the next video, we're going to run it on the machine. But hopefully this was some help to you. I think maybe you'll feel better once you see it carved on the machine. But if you look at this preview, basically what you're looking at here, this is what you're going to get. And I'll uncheck these. And again, you know, my machine, everyone's machines are not the same, but they're close, especially if it's the same brand. So I have this file here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop this in that same folder, and when I post this, if any of you people running, any of you guys using VCarve Pro want this file, or if you have a Onefinity CNC, if you'll just let me know that you want a copy of it, I can figure out a way to get a copy of it to you. It would be nice if somebody would tell me of a free file share site, which I could probably find one. In fact, I'll look and see if I can find one here in a few minutes. But anyway, that's it for this video, and thanks, and like and subscribe and share. Share my videos. I'm going to be putting a lot of stuff up like this. I'm going to do a video for something that I needed assistance with and couldn't find. Exporting from Rhino, importing into VCarve, and then generating G code for Onefinity. So anyway, till next time, ciao.